Okay, welcome to another video. This time I'm gonna analyze the game of Otis's Chaos Dwarves versus the Orcs of Phifoe, two of our Eurobowl members for the Eurobowl in Wales. To the start classic setup, I guess there's no reason why not to put the three guys together. You just give them more options to easily block without even using guard. If he has to put his guarders on the line, you have the strength advantage and bind them to the troll, which is what you want. So then when you have your scrimmages with your bobs and your blitzers on the other part of the field, the guarders are not there and you can actually then take advantage of that. So I would always stand them up together. Maybe you can even put the guard bob in the middle and the troll and this guy on the side, so it makes it hard to block, especially since he has chosen the Swissobowl, where everything is a bit difficult against blocking against bobs. Right, so and then from the Chaos Dwarf side, you have to decide whether you want to commit to blocking the troll, maybe one dice, maybe actually even getting a guarder in here in order to then block him 2 dice, but then you commit a lot of players, so I'm fine with choosing to not block the troll. But if you know that you're gonna block with Frenzy here and you get a counter assist here, then yeah, I should be fine with the 2, but I mean, I don't see why you would block with Frenzy on the line of scrimmage when you can just block with block at the same time, and if you only get a push, then you get another block, so the Frenzy is not really worth it. I mean, if you really want to use the getting more blocks out of Frenzy, you might set up the Frenzy guy for a blitz to get 4 dice on this guy, but since he has guard here, you need to be careful and even assist here properly in order to get the right dice. Then a very nice catch on the high kick. So I'm okay with moving the guy forward, but then you already know your ball carrier is safe, so any double skull you roll, you will not take a reroll because everything is safe, right? So basically before every block you do, you need to think about, would I use a reroll here or not? Because sometimes you might then say, well, actually, what do I need to do first in order for me to be able to not use the reroll if I fail the block? So I mean, you're standing fine here, and then there's the first block, and I really don't see the reason of moving these guys here. So I mean, you have strength 4 with 2 assists, you're still gonna have the block advantage here afterwards, so there's no need to take this tackle zone away. And if you can say, well, I want to assist him for a blitz afterwards, then just move them afterwards. There's just no really added value except giving up a block here from this guy in the next turn if you fail that block. And what happens then, of course, you fail that block. And I mean, already here on the both down, I would just not reroll this. But obviously now you've kind of left all your cover. And if you don't reroll now, you could even 1, 2, 3, 4 go not be necessarily blitzed, but at least bound by a strength 4 guy, and that would be some trouble. But I still not reroll here either way, because you have break tackle and you just use the reroll you use now to get away in the next turn. Right, so you fail anyway, some blocking from the Orcs back and forth. Pretty straightforward, but you can also see, since you gave up that many blocks, or that you put them all next here, you kinda are now just standing up and are a bit out of position, and you don't get many blocks, and you also can't move your players. So already now you're kinda have some issues to guard your ball carrier properly and get the blocks that you need. So you then end up saying, well, I want to free my frenzy bull, which is fine, but then you need to give up a block on this guy in the next turn, which is obviously not so nice. So I mean, even here it would probably have been better if you moved the dwarf here and this guy up here, because afterwards it's the dwarf that stands next to the black to the blitzer, and he gets blocked. Otherwise, it would be the dwarf who has armor 9. Then yeah, I mean that's fine. You want to get these people here free, and I mean again here as well. No reason to reroll this both down because your ball carrier is pretty safe. Well, not exactly, but it could be safer. So before doing any blocks with that block, you might just move him back 1 or 2 pieces, because yeah, I mean you want to fight the blocking war and try to split his players, and then once you get that, you want to move down to one or the other side. And I mean that allows you to not use the reroll, which is, as I said, what the main thing is. At the beginning of the game you want to maximize your blocks and not get many rerolls, and you saw now as well, right? So this guy actually rolled an 8 and then a 10 for the casualty, and if it would have been the dwarf, he would have not even been KO'd or stunned, right? So it's worth to kind of maximize or minimize the blocks on the hobgoblins that they get wherever possible. Then here actually from the orc side, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go for it. You can assist with the goblin. You get a very easy 1 dice with just 2 go for it on a non-block ball carrier. So 50% to get the ball down, and if you don't, you still have him here bound by 2 players, and then you might just move this guy a bit in the backfield to cover the side over here. So I think a very good opportunity to get the ball that has not been used, that has been missed, and because then you just block that frenzy guy, and that doesn't really give you much advantage. I mean, even then you proceed to foul here with 2 assists only, which is, I mean, you rolled a 7, which is average, and it's not even through. So I don't think that's worth, even if you have goblins. There's better times to put in a serious foul with 4 assists or something. And of course you also give up the whole side up here from your positioning, which is probably not a good idea, especially with moving this guy here. Yeah. So then Otis takes the route and says, well, I mean, it's all free up here. I'm gonna go and move my bull here. Problem with this is your bull is pretty left alone, and then you yeah, of course you can unblock these guys, but still, I mean, all your other players are down here, and even if they don't get the ball this turn, they can easily move at least these 2 blitzers and the goblin all the way back, and you can do not have any players to go afterwards. So you're not gonna 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 go. You're not gonna reach. I mean, if you were in reach at least, say, okay, I'm gonna go for a quick touchdown because I'm fully out of position and I'm not gonna get through. That would be one possibility, but since you don't have that, I really don't see it to just put the ball back here. I mean, rather just leave him here, use the blitz to gain advantage in the blocking war, and then wait for a better time to push through on this side. And Also, don't really see why you want to follow here. Yeah, you then pin this guy here, but also if you fail a block, then he's just too far away from where he needs to be. Then very nice play here to do the chain push to get this guy in range to assist, so you can then get with only 2 go for it, the 2 dice block, which is very nice. And the ball bounces. Yeah, and then it's a little bit back and forth. Of course, you try to recover, which is fine. I wouldn't try to pick it up here. Exactly. Try to get the hobgoblins next to the ball so you can help. So big back and forth. And then I think in this situation here, I really like the gamble to say, okay, let's try to chain push this guy onto the ball. That's happening. But then the ball is here. I mean, really, there's no way why you really should pick it up here. I mean, it's just no way. It's so risky, and I mean, it's a 5+ pickup, and if you end up being here, you most likely you'll just get chain pushed out afterwards. So I really don't see that play here. Maybe a bit desperation. Also, I don't see why you, if you do that play, why you would do 1 dice blocks first. Then you rather kind of say, well, yeah, not gonna do it. I mean, also here, of course, you even make most of it, and then you also see that 0 on the reroll are the first 2 turns where you use them for nothing, and I mean, you saw both times the reroll actually didn't work, but you did not really get into trouble because of it. So I think if you'd have still a reroll now, you might have even made that, or could have done more than in the next turns as well. Then a lucky catch, and that enables the orcs to really go downfield. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. I can cover up here. Very good. I like the thing here, and that's also a good invested reroll to cover up here and get more players down here. That's fine. Then that's also fine. Get the bull next to the ball carrier. Then here, I like this this idea. However, I do not see why you wouldn't want to move here to this guy and bind them, because he doesn't have cards, so he won't be able to 2 dice block. And more importantly, if you only get a push on the black orc, this guy will be back here, and this guy can still dodge and help here if needed. However, what you're trying to do now is you do go for it, and then you do 1 dice block without block in order to get the bull centaur down, which I guess is your purpose. So if you say, well, no, actually I just want to crowd push him, that's also fine. But then if you get the push, I mean, push him here and then block him out, you know. Really my favorite play here, I think, would just be to not even do that go for it, but walk with the orc just down here, and then just dodge away and score. I mean, it's turn 6, he has Chaos Dwarves. I mean, you can't even just kind of walk here and go out of range, say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you use the reroll for the dodge, then you might not score. If you don't use the reroll, then you might score, and then you're safe. I mean, I'm also okay with the crowd push attempt, but then really crowd push, because afterwards you're pretty safe when this guy is here and this guy is out. But this I really don't see, and I mean, yeah, you can do that block, but I mean, yeah, this is, I'm not sure if you get, I mean, you don't gain anything from blocking this guy before doing that, except chance of a turnover, which really screws you. So yeah. Alright, so then yeah, the ball goes out. Yeah, best chance is to dodge and pick up, but by now you don't have any rerolls left. So it's of course hard, and that kind of seals the deal for the first half. Then yeah, I like the setup. You pick up the ball. That's fine. Maximum blocks. Maybe you can have a look a bit at how you want to maximize your blocks and get 3 dice on with the troll, and try to block as many as possible diagonally. Yeah, but it's always a bit of a trade-off of blocking diagonally versus blocking with the troll for sure, because he has mighty blow and he wants to block. So yeah, whichever. So that's fine. It's also fine to kind of pressure here the sideline and say, okay, I want to use my frenzy, I want to get this guy out. Response is quite good as well, I think. Yeah, you can block this guy and say, well, I mean, not with me. Follow up and move the guys over there to kind of counter and play with this frenzy, because I mean, even if he does blitz, then yeah, he might still end up being here. But now then he made, of course, very nicely the chain push and got you here. However, he needed to put 2 guys here, so you can actually just chain push in return now, and that's I think what you do, and that was very solid move. Over there, block this guy. I mean, I probably even here, I probably would have just blocked this guy here and then stayed here, and then actually because you have the power, you can always crab push this guy first and then just stand next to the other orc with the other guy, which is probably better, because afterwards you have to move this guy here anyways in order to cover the frenzy ball. So you actually have then the chance to stay here with the strength 4 guy next to the frenzy guy, so he has a harder time blocking here, and you get the hobgoblin out instead of a dwarf, but you might still get him out at the later time. So yeah, solid dwarf out, also a good choice, but now of course you lose a bit the pressure here because you can't easily crab push this guy. I don't really see, if we go back a bit, so I don't really see what the idea is here of the blitz on this guy, right? So I mean, you have a lot of pressure here. You could easily even crowd push, or not crowd push, but kind of free this guy somehow. Then you decide to blitz this guy. I guess because it's a 2 dice block, but what you really want to achieve, you want to kind of bind this guy here. But even if you get that, I mean, there's enough loose players to just block him away and then run through, and you have this guy who is in real danger. So I would rather have wanted to see something like, well, okay, that block worked, this guy goes here, this guy goes, or this guy just goes here, you block this guy, and then you try to dodge away here, or even from the beginning you try to blitz something with him, create an assist here so you kind of get your bull out of the danger zone, and then you just dodge away with him anyways. So don't really see what the advantage of this is. And then again, a reroll, which, yeah, of course you lose this player, but that's also, I mean, why do you even block this guy or blitz this guy if at this point, right? I don't really see what you want to achieve with this. So now, of course, worst case, you go down, you get this guy crowd pushed, and even your frenzy guy then is a bit in danger. You decide then to do some one dice action. Not sure whether you rather just want to have this guy assist here and one dice the frenzy guy actually to the sideline. Again, if you would have placed this guy next to the bull, then here you could have easily two dice and then even crowd push blitz this guy in this turn and never worry about him anymore. Then, yeah, Chaos Dwarves kinda move up, and again here he can now block him without assist. What he couldn't have done if it were a pop. Then two decisions, so you have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you have 10 versus 7. So do you really need to go downfield yet, or can you somehow play it around here? Problem is a bit that this bull is a bit annoying, so I think it's fine to go down here. You had to take a bit of risk with the dodge away from tackle, but now you're pretty good standing here. Then he just marks the ball carrier, and here I think there was a bit of a mistake, because so now you have 3 players here that are loose, and you still have 3 turns to play, right? So and then you end up kinda being scared of this crowd push. But really what you need to do is just let it be a crowd push. So he can only do it at the end of his turn, because it's a one dice without block, right? If you stand this guy up, or maybe even move the troll over here, then he will not get an assist. So he has to do everything else first. He will have to maybe blitz and try to block your ball carrier and use a reroll there, so might not even get to that block. And really, more importantly, you need these players. You need down here, so you get that 3 player against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players. Instead of what happens here, you move the guy here and try to block this guy. And you're now, this guy is not really helping. Yeah, this guy is here, but that blitzer could now be down here, and that guy's still bound. And if you then look what happens in the next turn, right? So, I mean, that's of course fine. But then here, he actually frees a dwarf with this guy, who would have just been here, or maybe out here. And then so he, yeah, I mean, then he can come into play. Your blitzer is not anymore binding this guy. This guy is bound by him, so you really miss to create a numbers advantage here. And that then it puts you in tough situations. And then here, I guess there's 2 possibilities. One is to just one dice this guy after the guard here and dodge away and score. You still have a reroll, so it's 3+. It's even not the end of the world if you roll a both down. You just break him down and try to dodge 4+3+. That's like the risky variant, and I really like the variant that you took, saying, well, actually, just gonna block here, but I really don't see why would you ever push this guy over here than over here, because afterwards, really, that's exactly what hurts you. Because he can just stand up and assist on the ball carrier, and this guy, if he were here, you'd have to stand up, do a 1 dice here, and then maybe with luck get the assist that you need. But now he can just stand up, get the 1 dice, and even then close up, which is of course a bit lucky. But if you either push this guy on the other side, or if you move the blitzer down, then you'd have a lot more choices in the last 2 turns to free yourself and make the score. Okay. Yeah, so that, I mean, and then of course, yeah, there's still a last turn, and you had a decent chance, and you played it well, I think, to get with 1-3+ the touchdown. But yeah, 3+ without reroll, they just always fail. So yeah. So after all, yeah, I mean, think a bit ahead. Where do I really want my players? What are the threats really that are going to be there? And from the blocking, try to maximize, try to have a kind of a plan. When do you want to push through, and when is it worth or not to win your half in ideally in turn 8, right? I hope this helped you guys a bit to look at your game, and I'll be happy to create some more videos if you like them.